promise you I would not be here.
Andrew? What's your credentials?
I'm a robotics mechanic.
A robotics mechanic? Mm-hmm. What's your degrees in?
I don't have a degree.
How are you a robotics mechanic and you don't have a degree?
Because I had an apprenticeship and it's a trade.
Okay, so similar to life coaching, let's say?
No, it's not similar to life coaching, let's say.
It's a trade, though.
Yeah, it's a real trade.
So life coaching is not a real trade?
I don't know.
Do people make a living doing it?
Sure.
So what is your definition of a trade?
So to me, a trade apprenticeship would be like an applied skill. So
life coaching isn't an applied skill?
No, I don't think it's a
So why would you have to go?
skill.
Why would you have to go to a trade school to learn how to do it then? If it's not a skill that you have to learn
I'm not sure
and
that
apply?
those are trade schools. I'm not sure.
Give me the definition of a trade. Aren't you learning a skill to perform a trade that you can monetize?
Yeah, but they couldn't. I mean, that would fall under anything, though, right?
Anything that you can monetize and you have to learn how to do it, I would call that a trade skill,
okay.
right?
Well, I mean, if that's your definition, I'll concede to the definition.
Okay, so So you have no degrees in psychology. You have no ministry degrees. You've never been to any ministry school.
Those are just appeals to authority.
Appeals to authority. So
why would that matter?
So you want me to appeal to your authority, yet you literally have a 2-year training program in how to do robotics?
No. What does that have to do with anything? Let's assume that you know what? Let's assume this.
The point is, you're arguing
with
me about psychology, spirituality, and all of these things that I've literally at least gone to trade schools for.
So what?
What have you done?
What would that matter? Let's say I was a 6th grade dropout and I cleaned carpets for a living and was a coomer on the internet who had an open relationship with my wife. Let's say that was my background. In what world would it make me wrong to question the things that you say if you're wrong about them, regardless of whatever my degrees were in?
Because you are questioning my authority as a psychologist when you're not a psychologist.
Why do I need to be the thing to question the thing? It's like saying you can't question the medication your doctor gives you unless you're a doctor. Like what?
Questioning is one thing, but having the condescendence to actually believe that you are right over what I am trained to be right in, that's a little crossing a line, I would say.
What's the line that you're crossing?
Your tone.
The tone? It's the wrong tone?
Because am
I tone policing
I am actually the authority in everything that you're talking about psychologically and spiritually and scholastically. So you need to get yourself in line and question me as a student of those things. Because I'm actually the teacher. You're the student.
Well,
Mr. Boulay donated $100. Communique from the Inquisition Patriarchy. Grand Inquisitor, have you received the autographed blue-white cup with certificate of authenticity? I am performing an audit of our inventory.
Not yet.
Thank you, Mr. Boulay, but no.
Appreciate it, Mr. Boulay.
I don't know what that even means.
It doesn't have anything to do with this. It's like a show inside joke. But anyway, yeah, so by this metric, right, if somebody, let's say, is a boat maker, right, and they make for you a boat, and you say, hey, it doesn't fucking float, and they go, don't question me, I make boats.
So let me ask you something. Do you heal people's trauma?
I'm not so sure that you can heal anybody's trauma.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Then how come you haven't healed your own?
I literally have.
Well, then why do you keep on talking about how you're fucking traumatized all the time?
Because trauma is an ongoing thing that we continually have to process.
So you just re-traumatized every day?
Yeah, and then I have to process it every night. And that's how I don't continue it on to the next day. Remember, the Bible says don't go asleep,
so
don't fall asleep on your anger.
You're re-traumatized, and then every day you heal yourself of your trauma.
Yes, every night before I go to bed.
Every night. Okay, yes. So all of your old traumas that you keep appealing to is being problematic, right? Divorces, things like this. You've healed from all of those,
the bigger
right?
catastrophic traumas take a little bit more time. They're more complex. They don't take one night. But for example,
well, how many nights do they take?
It just depends.
Okay,
do you want to talk about a specific trauma and how long it took me?
So how do you heal your trauma of your divorce? How would you heal that?
The divorce wasn't the trauma.
What was the trauma?
Being with the man.
Okay, how would you heal that?
It's been very hard.
So
Getting
it's not
away.
healed?
Well, it is healed in the sense that, do you really want to go into it? It's really dark.
Well, when you say healing, no, what I want to get into is this idea of healing trauma. When you say,
So-
do you heal trauma? And I go, I'm not sure you can heal trauma. You go, well, you can. And I say, well,
Do you want me
if
to
you
explain
can,
to you?
it's like saying,
There's a protocol in my book. Do you want to talk about how it's done?
which part of your book?
Here, let me.
Just tell me the chapter.
Well, here, I'll have to find it. Well, I need the book to look at the chapter. Oh, here, I'll use this one. Okay, I created a protocol to explain to you how to do it.
GMD Jim donated $100. This is precisely the result of the closure of asylums back in the 80s. We now embrace this stuff. Honey, you are not trained, you have been indoctrinated by other crazy people.
Okay, so right here on page 57, my method, processing severe trauma. Do you want me to read you the couple pages? It's only 2 pages, it looks like.
Or you can just give me a summarization.
Well, I'd just rather read it.
Okay.
Okay, so my method, processing severe trauma. In my relentless study of anthropology, sociology, and the psychology of various individuals, I had come to realize that it was never the actual event's situation.
Any
Yeah, you
opposing
gotta-
thoughts?
Okay, so Desiree, I don't know, you read the section that's pertinent to the conversation?
No, he wanted to know my process.
Yeah, but I got your process.
Okay, so-
No, you didn't. There's still more.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to move it on.
Your,
You
pro-
can't
your
just-
process is you ask God and cope. That's the process.
No, it's not. It's how to
You ask
release
the
the
infinite.
trauma.
The infinite is God, and then you
No,
cope.
I just told you. You have to place a meaning on the event that feels good.
That's called cope.
It's not called
That's
cope.
cope.
It's
That's
called
literally
finding a
coping.
meaning.
That is doing everything you can.
And then you have to grab-
take the event and pretend it's something other than what the
No,
event is.
no,
That is
it's
cope.
not. It's
Yes, it is.
agree to disagree. Grab a happy image and put it into the thought nursery. Now, if you read my book, you would know what the thought nursery is.
The thought
To
nursery.
dwell on for a few minutes. Let the better feelings associated with the happy image emerge. Breathe into these better feelings and savor them. I did this as many times a day as necessary. So what I would have to do is, so the image was of my friend dead on the table, basically blue, with intubated and everything. He died, and they made me go back and see him dead on the table. And his mom wanted me to delay the coroner from taking his body. That's the only reason I had to see him dead. I don't recommend people do that. There's no fucking point. But anyway, I had to go and see this man who died in my arms first, and then they tried to resuscitate him, obviously, intubated him. He's blue on the table. His mom,
Be free.
I had to tell, Steve's dead. Well, I didn't tell her that, but I told her, I don't know, he's unconscious. She met me at the hospital, but on her way there, she was begging me to stall the coroner from taking his body because they wanted time for the brother to come and be able to see. I don't know why people want to traumatize themselves by doing this. Again, I don't recommend forcing yourself to see your loved one
But
dead.
that's not necessarily trauma. That's part of the closure process.
Okay, well, for some it is, but for a lot of people, they get stuck on those images. For me, I got stuck with him blue, intubated,
Yeah, but that's
dead on
because
the
people
table.
have a
So
disconnection between what is life
do you
and
want
what
to
is
hear
death.
how I got over that and
Yeah,
didn't
okay.
get
Move it on,
PTSD?
Okay, yeah, we
I
got
gotta
to
move-
move to the
I
next
gotta
point.
move
But
it
before
on.
we do, I'd like to stay on this point, right? So people have a huge disconnection from what is life and what is death. Not everybody, and by the way, people used to have to deal with death a lot more. They used to have to deal with dead bodies a lot more, things like this. I don't think that it's ingrained to be traumatic necessarily. It's something that people just don't really have to deal with very much. So it becomes not personal. It always becomes somebody else's dealing with it. You're just dealing with a memory. But the thing is that when you say things like, take this thing that actually happened and put a fun, happy spin on it so it's something that you remember fondly instead, that is an embrace of delusion.